We invite Chairman Kashmir Committee Syed Fakhar Imam for his remarks.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan, honorable members of the Cabinet, honorable parliamentarians, honorable service chiefs and the senior officers and all the gentlemen who represent the armed forces of Pakistan, the honorable diplomats, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Today is a day of commemorating what this country was established for, that the Muslim majority areas sought a separate homeland under the leadership of the Honorable Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Under his dynamic, far-reaching, long-term, what in modern terms is called vision, he sought that the two communities which had lived together would not be able to live in harmony forever. And what has transpired in the last 6 years, and in particular since the 5th of August 2019, has justified Qaid's way of looking at how the newly independent states of Pakistan and India would evolve. Under the very myopic, tyrannical, and extraordinarily short-sighted policies of the triumvirate of Prime Minister Modi, Amit Shah, and Doval, the three, I think, are the triumvirate who drives India's philosophy today. But in the haste to establish the hegemony of India, which the more sophisticated leadership under Mahatma Gandhi or Jawaharlal Nehru, under an Indian constitution which was evolved in 1950, the symbols were secularism, pluralism, and democracy. Each one of those symbols of India's newly independent state have been suitably demolished, and in a manner, in a way, and in a method which the world can see at large. The Kashmir cause, which is to Pakistan, as the Qaid said, the jugular vein of Pakistan, it is in all and every way, has today again been brought to the international level, because after the Shimla Agreement, the Indians always said that the two nations must resolve their outstanding issues bilaterally. Pakistan never concurred. However, the Kashmir cause and the suffering of the Kashmiris, who are the key people in this whole affair, was not somehow resolved, as it has not been today. But Modi, with his BJP ethos and the manner that he runs India, my colleague, the Honorable Foreign Minister, mentioned Babri Masjid, the demolition, and we saw what the Supreme Court of India has done. And subsequently, as Chief Minister of Gujarat, 2,500 citizens of Muslim belief were martyred. And what did the Indians do? What has the Supreme Court of India done recently? Upheld Modi's fascism. So in a way, where the world is looking at India, the optics are totally different. The United Nations, in 3 ways, has recognized Pakistan's position. Number one, after the 5th of August, illegal, unilateral, aggressive occupying or reoccupying of Indian Kashmir. Subsequently, we sought a meeting of the United Nations Security Council. China played the key role. They brought the Russians on board, the Americans, the Honorable Donald Trump, we have seen 4 or 5 times in meeting our Honorable Prime Minister, said it was Prime Minister Modi who's asked me to mediate. Mr. Modi has never retracted from that statement. However, the whole of India negated that statement, and you saw 2 days ago, in his own way. Remember one thing, whether it's President Trump, whether it's Prime Minister Modi or any other leader of powerful nations, they are driven by domestic politics. Domestic politics drove them to Pulwama attack. Modi had lost 5 state elections. He wanted a cause to win the general election. And he succeeded in that. Although he lost on the ground to the great defenders of Pakistan, but somehow he convinced the Hindi belt in the north, and that's where he won 5 of his state elections. As we saw when President Trump, again, July last year, wanted to come back. Why did he want Pakistan assistance or facilitation? Because he was heading for the November election, December this year, presidential election. He invited the Honorable Prime Minister and his large delegation, and it went rather well, except a few days later with the 5th of August intervention. Immediately what happens after that? The United Nations recognizes again that Kashmir is a disputed area. Our stand, it was, I want to remind you, Jawaharlal Nehru Sahab, Prime Minister of India, who took the case to the United Nations, not Pakistan, way back in 1948. And the instrument of accession, which was the methodology under which they had to choose between India and Pakistan, was negated when they said through the resolution that it will be plebiscite through which the Kashmiris will choose their future course of action. That stands till today, now recognized twice, 16th of August last year, 15th of January this year. So our stand and the Kashmiri stand remains absolutely correct. And then the United Nations Secretary General, as the Honorable Foreign Minister has said, I don't think, actually he's a higher level, not just a politician or a leader. He's a statesman in the true sense of the word. He had been the president of the Socialist International Organization. He represents a certain mind, which is help the weak against the strong. And that's what the UN Charter says also. That's what the League of Nations Charter said. But despite these charters, the strong are not always willing to look at the weak. And that is the real issue as far as the Kashmiris are concerned. There are 4 parties really involved on the Kashmir issue. From our side, the Kashmiris in Indian-occupied Kashmir, Azad Kashmiris, which includes Gilgit-Baltistan, and those of the Kashmiris who live outside in the world. And we, the Pakistanis, are the core. Because, as the Honorable Quaid-e-Azam said, partition plan is not complete without resolving the Kashmir issue. That is the key element today. The United Nations has given us the stamp. They don't have the authority to carry out. It has to be the permanent 5 members. And as our Honorable Prime Minister in his most effectively portrayed speech on the 4 elements that he spoke of, which were climate change, money laundering, Islamophobia, and most of that speech was on Kashmir. I say it to his face here because I feel in the last 40 years at least, the Pakistan case has never been better articulated to the people present there and to the rest of the world. Today, after Mr. Trump's visit, we the Pakistanis, we are now 220 million. This part of Pakistan was 30 million when we became an independent sovereign state. We lost, unfortunately, half our people. But today, we should not always look to others. We should make the resolve that unless and until we, each citizen of Pakistan, wherever he or she is, stand up for their rights and protect ourselves as competitors to the rest of the world. It's been far too long, that 57 Islamic or Muslim states, despite the trillions of dollars that they've had, we have never been able to come up to that level of excellence, that level of performance which the world expected, especially the state of Pakistan, to do. I, for one, feel we've now got the opportunity, the way this Kashmir issue should become the trajectory to project ourselves in the world. But most of all, we need to sort out our own economic and political dynamic on the ground so that the citizens of Pakistan get justice above all, opportunities above all, institutions of learning and excellence above all. And if we can establish that, I, for one, would feel that Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah's unity, faith, and discipline would have been achieved. Thank you very much.